What's up guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. As I'm sure you all know, the max level gear that you use for PVE in Wizard101 has changed recently. I personally am a really big fan of this gear update because now we can finally run Aeon gear without having a horrible pip chance. As someone who works really hard to try and have the best stats in this game, I figured I would try my hand and make one of these gear guide videos. I also just want to mention right off the bat that this guide is solely for PVE and not for PvP. So today I'm going to be showing you my max level Storm Wizard who has perfect stats, and I hope that you can use this if you are struggling at figuring out what gear you should be using at max for your Storm Wizard. I hope this guide can help you, and let's get right on into the video. Alright, so starting things off, I just wanted to show you guys my overall stats. As you can see here, Isabella has 222 damage, but of course, Wizard101 has a damage cap, so anything over 220 is not counted. So technically, she just has 220 damage. She is at 7,999 health, which kinda annoys me that it's not at 8,000, but you know, she is a Storm Wizard, so she can have her 7,000 health. It's really not that big of a deal. If it bothers you, you can easily get better health jewels. I just sadly don't have any better ones. Alright, so moving on from that, she has 30 resist, which isn't the best, but as a Storm Wizard, you really don't need that much resist while questing because you're not going to be taking very many hits from the boss because you're killing pretty quickly. But 30 resist still isn't bad, and it definitely could be way worse. Next, I have 37 accuracy, which means I won't be fizzling, which thank God, because fizzling at max is very embarrassing. As a Storm Wizard, you only need 35 accuracy to not fizzle at all, but I'm just a little bit over, and that's perfectly fine. Next, let's move on to critical rating. I have a rating of 790, and in my experience, I crit almost all the time. It's pretty rare that I don't crit while questing, so I would say 790 is pretty good. Next up, we have universal block, and I have a rating of 348. I don't ever block in PvE, if I'm being completely honest, but that's perfectly fine. Like I said, we're killing pretty quick anyways, so no need to be blocking. It's cool if you do, but it's not something that I personally am working towards stat-wise. Next, my pierce is 51, which is really nice because if an enemy uses a tower shield, you pierce through that shield completely. So it's like he doesn't even have a shield on in the first place. So I highly recommend getting your pierce over 50 if you can. Next up, we have stun resistance at 0, which is kind of funny. I don't ever really resist, as you can tell, but it's not something that is needed. If you're worried about being stunned, you can just put up a stun block or get stun resist jewels if you want. Next, obviously, my healing is 0. As a Storm Wizard, you're not going to be healing, so there's no real reason to have any healing stats. Next, we have pip conversion, which is at 659, which once again, this really isn't a stat that you need to be focusing on in PvE, but it's still good to have nonetheless. And lastly, we have 100% power pips, which means we aren't going to be fail pipping, which is really nice at max level because it's really embarrassing when you get a fail pip. So try to get your power pips to 100% if you can. Our shad rating is at 98, and our arc mastery is at a solid 128. So there are my overall stats. Next, let's get into the gear that is needed for you to achieve these stats for yourself. Okay, so starting things off with the hat, we are obviously running the Fractal Aeon hat. It's so nice now that this gear gives pip chance that I no longer have to run the old Dusty, Malevolent, or Uber cap. Plus, it looks pretty cool as well, so it gets some bonus points there. For my robe, I'm obviously running the Storm Nullity robe. You guys know the story about this robe. This robe was almost the death of me. Took me over 130 runs to get it, but I digress. We finally have it now, and it's such a nice upgrade. But if you don't do raids, or you simply just can't get the drop like I couldn't, you can easily run the Fractal Aeon cape. It will mess your stats up a little bit, but since this new update, you just won't hit the damage cap, and you might have to adjust some things around. Like your power pip will only be at 99% instead of 100% if you solely switch out the Aeon robe, but that's an easy fix. But Aeon altogether is a really good alternative if you do not have the Nullity robe. At this point, sadly, the Malister robe is gone for good. If you still want to use it, so be it, but I highly recommend at least making the upgrade to Aeon if you can. And if you can get the Nullity robe, then that is perfect. For boots, I just run the simple Aeon boots, nothing too special here. And for my wand, I'm just running the Fractal Aeon sword, which is pretty standard for most schools. For my theme, I'm using the Fractal Aeon theme with health and 2 pierce jewels and a Maycast aura jewel. This theme it gives you the most amount of damage, so I highly recommend using this one. It also gives you a good chunk of power pip, so I really don't recommend using any other theme other than this one. Next, for my amulet, I'm running the Fly Gobs Medallion. I feel like this is a staple for most Storm Wizards. I've had this since level 100, and I really like this amulet because of the pierce it gives you. No other amulet gives you pierce like this one does, so I highly recommend Fly Gobs Medallion. For my ring, I am using the Aeon Ring mainly because of its damage and power pip chance, and I have a health jewel and a pierce jewel and a block jewel socketed. You can change that block out for whatever you want, but this is just personally what I have. Next, for my pet, I'm using Lil Luna, and she is a full damage Frilosaur. Obviously, you have to use a Frilosaur so that you can get the stat bonus with the Bronto mount. Now, in some cases, you may go up against a boss that has a little bit more resist, so I also have a pierce and damage pet made, and when I have this pet equipped, it makes my pierce go up to 56. So it's just something extra for when you do need it. Next, for our mount, we obviously have the Chompy Bronto so that we can get the set bonus with the Frilosaur. You know me, I love my Brontos. And last but not least, we have the Supreme deck. The only reason I am not using the Aeon deck is because I would lose my accuracy jewel, and I sadly don't have another one to socket to my theme. So for the time being, until we can get another accuracy jewel, the Supreme deck works perfectly fine. Now, if you do have another accuracy jewel, you can put that on your theme, and then you can run the Aeon deck, and it's really cool because it gives you Arc Mastery and block. Alrighty guys, well that is going to be it for me today. I hope that this gear guide was helpful to you in some way. If you want me to do more of these in the future, please let me know in a comment down below, and I will gladly do that for you guys. But yeah, if you did enjoy today's video, please make sure to leave a like and hit that subscribe button before you go, as it goes a really long way and shows me that you guys are enjoying my content. And as always, if you need a Wiz community to be a part of, please join my Discord server. I will have it linked down below, and I would love to have you guys. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!